be doing this? How long will I be doing this? How many more booties have to kiss? How long will I be doing this? Howdy! Let's see, Wiki, got what's going on here. So why did I do that? Well, I'll tell you why. Back in the middle school days, in 1968, I believe, we used to have this hallway in our middle school, and it had a really big echo to it. And it sounded real good. You could do doo-wop music just like they used to do in the early 60s and late 50s. Stand there and get this really nice echo. So the African American kids used to go around with their transistor radios and have it tuned to the local soul station. So you could hear Temptations and Smokey Robinson, the Four Tops, the Supremes reverberate all through the school. But then there was these kids who wore navy pea coats, they call them. And then when they walk in the hallway, they would pull out a Marine band harmonica and play tunes like Love Me Do by the Beatles, or what was the other one? Oh yeah, I'm a Man by the Yardbirds. You know, stuff like that. But that's not what I want to talk to you about. What I want to talk to you about is the people who do not know about politics. Just shut their fucking mouth. Please, I beg you, don't express it. You don't know the difference between authoritarian left or authoritarian right. But you've been fed all this misleading information, and you should learn more. Go to Political Science 101. Because everything you think you know, everything you know is wrong, especially if you consider yourself a Republican. Democrat, well, it's the Republican Party. It's all the same thing. Democrats are good cops, and the Republicans are bad cops. And, but they're both pigs. One is a sweet talking fascist. The other one is a hard talking Nazi. If you don't know the difference between fascism and communism, you really should go read a book. Okay? I mean, this country is so wonderful that you could be the stupidest fuck in the whole universe and get on YouTube and have your own show to express things you do not know about. You don't have to take an intelligence test to have a show on YouTube. And if you listen to these little right-wing little podcasts, you realize, duh, I'm stupid. What are you, some left-wing fascist, or are you a right-wing communist? Yeah. Slap my face and call me Mary Daddy. Cringe my ass. I'll show you cringe. You know, if I was a fascist, I would decree, in order to vote, you have to learn politics. And you have to take an intelligence test before you have the privilege to vote. But since I'm anti-authoritarian left, I don't believe in that, but secretly I do. Just kidding. Let's go on to our video for today. So long. You know what I hate about these things? Oh, fuck it. Okay. Hold the line.
When we were thinking about who to have here tonight, he's just spectacular. Many of you have seen his movement, and it's a real movement. So during the lockdowns, there were people that decided to just kind of stay at home and do nothing. This church opened up and was courageous and bold. But this man started a movement. Now, I know you're going to get kind of confused when he comes up on stage, some of you that don't know him. He looks like a liberal. I give him a hard time all the time. He's got long hair. He looks like a 1960s hippie. But it's okay.
You look like a 1900 idiot.
But he went around the country and did these open-air revivals that brought thousands of people to the Lord in the midst of the lockdown. And I started to get these messages from people, and they said, Charlie, you got to look at the Sean Foyt guy. So I endorsed Sean back personally when he ran for Congress in California, and I was so moved by his story. And I started to see Sean attract crowds of thousands and then tens of thousands. And then I saw the opposition. I saw all of a sudden local governments trying to lock him down. I saw the satanic response to what Sean was doing when everyone was supposed to stay at home. He was bringing people into the streets to go glorify the Lord. And Sean, you know, he'll do a better job than I will of actually talking about how this is not a political thing at all. It's about glorifying God. But guess what? Politics actually started to involve himself in his ministry because...
Do you think that Charlie Kirk is really religious and he believes in God, or it's just a facade he's putting on? I think he's putting on a facade. The whole idea of, I think they call it corporate theocracy, is the 1% is to the right and the rest are praying to Jesus. So this is all a phony facade. This guy doesn't believe in Christ. He only believes in himself. Shall we continue?
You had secular politicians that say, hey, you can go protest in a BLM rally, but if you're coming to go glorify God, you're not allowed to do that. And he was, the tour that he put on in the last year and a half, you should...
Glorify God. You're glorifying your own ego.
It's unbelievable. One of the most ambitious, and I'll say this, I will put him up against anybody, and I'm by no means know everybody.
Would you put him up against God? That's everybody.
In the space. But I don't think anybody worked as hard and did more effective.
Did you know porno actors work hard?
Open air revivals in as many cities as Sean Foyt did in the last 2 years, and it's a great honor to have him here tonight. Sean, get on up here.
How come everybody's named as Sean is a total idiot? Hey, no more freedom in America. We're going to be in the Christian Iran. Yay!
See? You see the hair? So.
Just tricks people.
There you go. Sean, welcome to Dream City, man. And just...
This guy, Sean, has a video show, and I seen it. He's, like most of these conservatives, he is a failed comedian. He thought he was a hip, rebellious guy, and it was not going anywhere. His comedy career did not go anywhere. So what did he do? He went right, because when your career goes south, you turn right. And he looks like a anachronism, should I say? He looks like he should be in a grunge band. So that's another thing. There's a lot of conservatives now wearing beards. In the 50s, if you wore a beard, you were considered a communist. Now this guy has long hair and a beard. He looks like a fucking hippie. Fuck him.
Just God bless you for all the work you've been doing, seriously.
This church is amazing. You guys are incredible. We thank God for you all across America.
How can you thank?
Pastor Tommy, thank you so much. Beautiful place.
So Sean, tell us about your movement. Let Us Worship. It was a brilliant
Movement. You mean bowel movement.
idea that you then put the work into. I mean, you spent hundreds of days away from home over the last year and a half, and you came under intense opposition. Just walk us through all that.
Yeah.
You know, this sounds like these groups. What was the name of that? They used to sell dishes. No, they sold perfume. This is like a Mary Kay meeting. And this sounds very superficial. The way they're talking, well, Bob, yeah, talk about your, Sean, talk about your, yeah, that's right. It's so phony. If you have any perspicacity, you would look at this and go, bullshit.
Yeah, so leading up to the pandemic, I had spent about 20 years investing into really the most persecuted, closed nations in the world. My parents are both full-time medical missionaries, so I grew up in a missionary home. And so I had been...
Well, you probably was, never mind.
In places like North Korea, Afghanistan, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, a lot of places across the world. And I didn't really care that much about America, to be honest. I mean, just truthfully,
And you don't care about your appearance either.
was just like, you know what, America's heard the gospel, let's move on. You know, they had their chance, you know. And then...
Another Christian grifter. That's nice.
I started having kids. And I have...
Well, this is another thing about birth control. Like I said in my opening, these clowns believe that everything that is was ordained by God. Everything. You pick your nose, that was already created by God years ago. About this time at 3:05 p.m., Stephen will pick his nose. And that's why they don't have birth control in Christianity. No, I'm serious.
I have 4 now, ages 11, 9, 7, and 3. We've been fruitful, we've multiplied. And I started to think about, what is this nation going to look like for my children?
What this nation's going to look like for your children? Well, if you run it logically and you run it with scientific methodology, it's going to look pretty good. But if you're just going to go on your knees and say, oh, Jesus, help me. If somebody has a heart attack, do you perform CPR or do you pray to God? Now, if you're doing CPR, you haven't got time to pray to God because time is at essence. Okay, more bullshit.
And I started to get concerned. And of course, I'm living in California where the polarization is great and where, you know, the intensity is great, but yet also the revival history is great. And so anyway, when the lockdowns happened,
there was no lockdown. It was voluntary. It was in place. Station in place? It was station in place. That means you voluntarily stayed at your home and not spread the schmutz around. But these guys, they'll take away a woman's right for her own reproductive system, but they won't wear a stupid piece of cloth on their face, and they get all emotional like leftists. They get emotional like, oh, it's my freedom. It's my freedom. You can't take away my freedom. Anti-vax, anti-logic, anti-smart. Common sense. This is not common sense. This is common nonsense. Let's proceed.
I wasn't shocked because I just run for Congress, right? In a very, very purple.
Would you get 2, 3, maybe 20 votes?
Well, they told me it was a purple district. It was actually a blue district. Which I found out, in the Bay Area. And I discovered, I peeked behind the veil, right, of Gavin Newsom and Pelosi and all this stuff happening in California.
You think that's bad? You ought to go behind the veil of the Republican Party, you stupid long-haired knothead. I wonder if he's a surfer.
And I knew that there was an agenda at play during the lockdowns. Casinos were open, strip clubs were open. It was fine to go to Costco.
Hey, idiot. Indian casino is not part of the United States. It's on a Indian nation. They don't have to abide by our laws. They make their own laws. They could open a casino when there's a pandemic. The United States can't touch them. Moron.
But the church was the super spreader, you know.
That's because it was!
And so I thought, okay, let's first galvanize people, right? Because I wasn't shocked the government was doing what it was doing. I was shocked that so many people were complying.
You were shocked that people were complying. If there was a forest fire and it was coming to your house and the fireman says, get out, get out. Oh, you can't tell me what to do. I'm not complying. And your house burned down. What are you going to blame it on? Socialism? You long-haired dopehead.
So I'm sitting there in my house, right? This is I don't know if I've ever told this story like this, but I did a pledge. I called the pledge Let Us Worship. I circulated it online. Really sent it for all my friends in New York, California, states that were really locked down. I said, sign this pledge, let's take a stand. And then I was sitting at home and I was getting these direct messages from my underground church pastor friends in Iraq.
Underground church? What do you think you are? In the fucking Soviet Union? You could practice your religion. You don't even have to pay taxes. They want to make themselves look like persecution, like Rome, ancient Rome, where they used to throw Christians to the lions. Now, you telling me this is the freest country in the world and you're worried about their persecuting Christians? Did you know the Jews persecuted the Nazis? Yeah. The Nazis used to say, these Jews are making us build ovens and and we have to throw them in there. It's their fault. They're persecuting us. See, guys?
In India, in Afghanistan, and they were saying, you're not going to let the governor do that to you, right, Sean? Come on, you spend enough time with us.
And I want birth control devices. And people are going to say, well, Stephen, you're not going to let the churches tell you what to do.
You know what to do. And they were egging me on.
Yeah, they were egging him on. Oh, come on, Sean. Come on. Rebel against the government. Oh. Idiot.
And so I said, okay, we got to do something. Let's put feet to this pledge. And so
they put a feet up your ass. Okay, that's all I can stand today. So, I just want to say have a good evening. And Geiggesund. And Jesus, come to my Seder, okay? We have a chair waiting just for you. God bless the multi-universe. And God bless Jenna, my cat, and my wife Pamela.